Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today. I'm joined by Deputy Commissioner Chrissy Barrett from the Australian Federal Police. Operation Mingarri is a joint counter-terrorism investigation. The joint counter-terrorism team in New South Wales is comprised of the New South Wales Police, the Australian Federal Police, ASIO and the New South Wales Crime Commission. This investigation was commenced following the stabbing at the Christ of Good Shepherd Church, Wakeley, on the 15th of April this year. As we know, one young person has been charged with a terrorism-related offence in relation to that incident. From that initial incident, a number of associates were identified that we believe warranted further police attention and investigation. We will allege that these individuals adhere to a religiously motivated, violent extremist ideology. These investigations have been progressing since the incident. The investigations included comprehensive surveillance activities and intensive scrutiny of these individuals. Meetings were held yesterday between partner agencies where evidence was reviewed and considered. It was considered that the group, subject of our attention, posed an unacceptable risk and threat to the people of New South Wales, and our current purely investigative strategies could not adequately ensure public safety. As a result, we determined that we needed to escalate our activities and that overt action was required. This commenced at 11:15 this morning, involving more than 400 police of the AFP and New South Wales police officers. 13 search warrants have been executed across southwestern Sydney. The execution of those warrants is continuing. As a result of those search warrants and people who were in attendance, 5 individuals have been arrested and 7 continue to assist us with our inquiries. I can assure the community there is no ongoing threat to the community, and the action we have taken today has mitigated any risk of future or further harm. We are also in the process of engaging with our local community leaders to ensure calm across those suburbs in southwestern Sydney. Many of the officers involved in this operation have been working tirelessly and round the clock for the last 7 days, and my thanks to them in ensuring the safety of the community in New South Wales. I'll now hand over to Deputy Commissioner Barrett.
Thank you very much and good afternoon. Can I just say from the outset that we won't be taking many questions today because this operation is still underway and we are needed back in the Police Operations Centre. But we will try and answer as many of your questions as we can up front. So this operation is linked to the 16-year-old boy who was charged last week with a terrorism offence in relation to an alleged stabbing at a Sydney church. But I want to say this at the top. This activity, which started this morning, is not linked to Anzac Day commemorations or any religious holiday. There is no immediate danger to the community. However, the national terrorism threat level remains at possible. AFP Police Commissioner Reece Kershaw has today been very clear about disinformation and misinformation that has been circulating online about 2 distressing incidents in Sydney. I urge all Australians to seek their information from reputable news sources. This is one of the reasons why Dave and I are standing here today. These are the details that I'm willing to provide. The AFP and New South Wales Police, under the Joint Counter-Terrorism Team, have today executed search warrants at multiple locations across southwest Sydney relating to a number of individuals. At this stage, 7 people, all juveniles, have been arrested and a further 5 are assisting police with our inquiries. As part of our JCTT investigation into the alleged Wakeley stabbing, we identified links between the alleged offender and a network of associates and peers who we believe shared a similar violent extremist ideology. The JCTT has acted swiftly to disrupt these individuals and the investigation remains ongoing. At this time, we have no evidence of specific locations, times or targets of a violent act. Now, I know that some of this will be confusing and confronting for some Australians and parts of our community. Senior members of the AFP and our community liaison teams have today held discussions with faith communities who we value and respect. Our relationships are very important and we never take them for granted. I want to be very clear. We target criminality and not countries. We target radicalisation, not religion. We ask Australians to remain vigilant, and I urge people who see or hear something that they feel is not right to contact the National Security Hotline immediately on 1800 123 400. Finally, when there are significant operational updates that can be shared, they will be provided to you. Thank you.
Can we just clarify 5 or 7?
Sorry, it's 7 arrested, 5 assisting with inquiries. Thank you.
What was the nature of the threat? Maybe some more specifics about, I suppose, the reason that you decided to make arrests now on this particular group?
As I said, part of the investigation involved quite intense scrutiny and surveillance of the individuals over the last 7 days. Their behaviour, whilst under that surveillance, led us to believe that if they were to commit any act, we would not be able to prevent that, and we believed through the investigation that it was likely that an attack might ensue. If you take your minds back to Auckland in New Zealand, when surveillance was on an individual who attacked people in a shopping centre, a number of incidents in the UK where individuals released from custody and under surveillance have committed acts of terrorism whilst under surveillance. At our meeting yesterday, we considered that the risk was too great and we needed to interdict today.
Is there any information on how those juveniles arrested today, how they knew each other? Did they go to school together, or is it an online thing, how they know each other?
It's a mixture. They're all obviously from very similar areas in the community. There's a mixture of ways, and there's a crossover on individuals between different groups, but they are all known to each other, some loosely, some quite closely, but all linked in a common purpose, we believe, at this stage.
And there was a seizure of electronic devices that occurred at the 16-year-old boy's home. There was information gained from those electronic devices that led police to this group?
Certainly there was a device seized. Certainly that was analysed. And we seize electronic devices as part of our investigative process from all people, including today, and that'll form part of our future investigative strategies.
Is there a ringleader at all, or did they receive any encouragement from the domestic figures of sorts?
That's still under investigation, as we would not have, if the threat we believed as of yesterday was not so great, we would have preferred further time to explore many of the things that and have more appropriate answers for many of the questions that you have. But as I said, we decided yesterday that we had to escalate, we had to interdict, and this group had to be touched, and that's happened today. Hopefully that will reveal enough evidence to charge some of these individuals, if not all of them.
Were any weapons seized?
At this stage, the search warrants are ongoing.
Were they using any encrypted applications that you know of?
That'll form part of the investigation. Obviously, encrypted devices have been used and communication channels have been used and thwarted law enforcement for the last 10 years. It's not new.
Was there any specifics to the attack that you were concerned about?
No specific targets had been nominated. However, it's just the ongoing threat and the loose nature of the group as well. Whilst coordinated to some degree, there were splinter factions that were doing their own thing as well.
How concerning is it that these are children, or I guess juveniles, in this case? I mean, what ages are we talking, and how concerned are you by their ages?
We're talking 15, 16, 17-year-olds. However, the terrorism landscape and the radicalisation of youth online is a continuing problem for us. When you think back 10 years ago this year to the next year, the murder of Curtis Cheng, killed outside police headquarters by a 15-year-old. Nothing's changed.
Have police spoken to their parents, and what have their responses been?
Obviously, family members and guardians are being spoken to as part of the investigation, and that will continue.
Is there any indication that maybe there's some adults that have been in touch with this, there's been some radicalisation, or what's happened, from outside that this has happened with these kids? Why any sort of motivation beyond?
Again, forming part of our investigation and will be pursued now that the threat has been diminished.
Question.
Just to be clear, regarding the original incident in Wakely, can we get any clarity over the weapon allegedly used by the 16-year-old, how the injury to his hand was incurred and what exactly that injury was?
To be perfectly honest, I wasn't in the country when that incident happened, so I'll have to get back to you on that, but certainly we can clarify that. But obviously, horrific incident. I believe similar to a flick knife, but I'll have to confirm that with you.
Are there any religious centres or anything like that that you're looking into or speaking with?
Again, as I said, these are early days in our investigation. We would have liked a lot more time, but we decided yesterday that our hands have been forced by the enduring risk that this group presented to the community of New South Wales, forcing the action we needed to take today. There'll be many things that will fall out of this, and we'll update in due course with outcomes of the search warrants and obviously any charges that that we prefer out of today's activities and any ongoing investigative strategies that we are making and taking.
Thank you, everyone.